work of organizations like Mass Peace Action, like the U.S. campaign to end the Israeli occupation, that have made this change possible. Jewish Voice for Peace, all of these organizations have been crucial in changing the public discourse on this. The press is still not great on this issue, as you all know. Several hundred people have been killed in the week since that was imposed, but the numbers are way down. I'm not going to go into all the details now, but the refugee crisis is still very much underway. We should be clear, there is a massive refugee crisis going on in the region. There is not a refugee crisis in this country. There is a racism crisis in this country. We don't have a refugee crisis. We have a racism crisis. But we do have some hope that the cessation of hostilities may morph into a real ceasefire. The talks brokered by the UN are supposed to begin again on Monday. Let's keep fingers, toes, and noses crossed that they do. We have to remember the words of former Senator George Mitchell, from this neck of the woods also, who said after the Good Friday Agreement that he was so crucial in helping to broker, if we're serious about diplomacy, everybody has to be at the table. You can't exclude anyone because you think they're terrorists. So the US exclusion of Iran, the Turks' exclusion of Kurdish forces, this is completely unacceptable. Everybody has to be at the table. The government in Damascus, the opposition, armed and unarmed, across the country. Everybody has to be at the table. Now, does that mean we should be negotiating today with ISIS? Probably not today. Maybe someday, maybe not. But certainly the people who are arming ISIS, which goes to all the question about what's Saudi Arabia really up to and what's Turkey really up to, all of those are on the table. Everybody has to be at the table because we need diplomacy over war. I'm not going to go into all the things about what a US policy should look like. I've outlined about 7 or 8 things, but I just want to end with a reminder of some of the talk that's going on in Washington, which I think is so important. We heard this recently from the great representative from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard, who's a combat veteran of Iraq. And she resigned about a week ago from the Democratic National Committee because she said it was unfair in a whole host of ways. She resigned for all the right reasons. And she has talked about her opposition to what she called the US interventionist regime changing wars across the Middle East, and said we've got to do better. She said those wars have made things worse. She was able to say that because organizations like Mass Peace Action around the country, in her state of Hawaii and on this end of the country in Massachusetts, have made it possible for elections to work sometimes in this country, where sometimes we can elect a Tulsi Gabbard, where sometimes we can elect a Jim McGovern, and sometimes we can elect people who actually represent the interests not only of us, but of the people who are in the gun sights of our policies around the world. Because at the end of the day, we have to be here to speak for them. Thank you.